So if you're looking to buy a naked bike and your budget is at 9 grand or under, I think you should seriously consider the MT09. This bike for 9 grand has an awful lot going for it. I got it for my 75th birthday present and it has thrilled me ever since. And you could watch this video and pretty much all of the modern videos in full 4K. You need to adjust your setting in the lower right hand corner. Just another heavenly spring day is upon us. It's supposed to really be nice all day. No chance of rain. Nice temperatures for riding. I can't wait to get out on the open road. Now, before I even pre-flight the bike, I always check the chain because that's something I like to do in the garage. And this chain has about, well, a little less than 1,000 miles on it since we changed it. And it's still spitting out those little dots of grease, the grease that comes on a stock Regina chain. It's really good grease. I haven't put any chain wax on it yet. But anyway, I thought before I head out on the open road here, because we got such a nice day, spend a few minutes, get the chain fine-tuned in, and we'll probably be good to go for another almost 1,000 miles, who knows. And maintaining the chain, now I keep that chain as clean as I possibly can, and I like to keep it adjusted too. And doing that little maintenance, I hate that feeling when you back off the gas that there's slack in a chain. I guess some people it doesn't bother, and well, it bothers me, so I constantly maintain it. But it is looking like a heavenly day here, and I just wanted to get the bike cleaned up, the normal pre-flight. And as I'm doing this, nothing special. Karen mentioned, she came out, she was looking at the garden, and we're getting ready to plant pretty soon, and she mentioned to me this is going to be one of the nicest days so far of the year. It is supposed to go to 70 today, and that's the warmest it's been, I think, so far. Maybe even more. So I will have my extra cup of coffee and look back at the 9 grand I spent on this bike. It was 8959. Well, it was under 9 grand. $5 less. Good thing I'm not a mathematician. I don't want to be a mathematician. I want to be an MT09 rider today. Let's go. This is the only bike I have with traction control, and I'm surprised for $9,000. There's a lot of extra features on this bike, more than I expected when I bought the bike, and traction control is one. Now, they claim the bike has 115 horsepower, 118, some people claim. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter because the power is down low and you can be in a gear too high and it's user friendly. It's not like having a 100 horsepower two-stroke. Yamaha always, my R1 and this bike have something in common, is they really develop a beautiful, smooth, usable power band. Now for under 9 grand too, another thing that I really have found useful, the drive modes. Anytime you're out on really slippery roads, just putting it in the what amounts to be the rain mode, it's a lot easier to control on a slippery road or roads they just salted, or if you get caught in the rain. And it's just one of the features when you have a low budget bike, you don't expect all these features. And that's what I think makes this bike special. They haven't pared it down to where you don't have any of the features and it's a bare bones bike. Another thing that I like about the bike, and it's something a lot of people just take for granted, the seat on this bike, for me, with my size and weight and the way I ride, that seat is absolutely perfect. Now, part of every ride, I always try to do a little exploring, and there's so many of these little lake communities around this area, and these back roads, they're usually pretty slippery and full of stones, but I always like to go down them and see where they lead and what's at the end of it. And every ride is getting nicer than the day before's ride. Everything's starting to bloom here, and the people are all so friendly. The only thing they really don't like is a loud motorcycle. And I have gotten some pretty evil looks from people when I've come by here on any of the bikes that have a little bit loud muffler. But the MT09, for $9,000, you get a nice quiet muffler. Now the bike is a 2020, and I spent almost 2 years and a lot of videos, they were all on my channel, making little carbon fiber parts and brackets and getting parts from Vlad. He got me to carbon fiber both of the fenders. I made some of the parts. The biggest thing of all is all of the things that were flat black, and I painted them blue, and I love that color blue, needless to say. And then right at the end, to paint the wheels. A true labor of love. Now, when I was at the bike meetup, there were several people that had the more modern version of this. This one ended in 2020. And the newer ones do have some features that are nicer. And one of the things I like about this bike is the styling. Now, it took me 2 years to get it exactly the way I wanted. The polished exhaust, the windshield, the layback of the windshield, painting all the parts green, getting the screws out of the screening, among other things. All of the tail section, getting rid of that crazy tail fender that they give you with the bike. And after 2 years, I really feel like I've made this bike my own. Now, I add to my collection. Every 10 years I buy another bike, and I don't trade in the old one. And I want to have my collection, my humble collection, to be one bike from every 10-year period. So basically 6 or 7 years from now, if I'm still riding, I'm going to look around for something to add to my collection. But this one, being the last bike I added, this one really is, in my estimation, the cherry on the sundae. And on a riding day like today, when the weather is just spectacular, I just love going out to the garage, doing my little pre-flight, and knowing I got 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours of riding, and that the chain is in adjustment for another 1,000 miles, that the muffler is quiet, all of the little things that make this bike fun to ride. The ABS brakes, and I have really become a believer in them. The styling of the bike, the paintwork, and of course, the biggest one of all, the one that makes the ride extra special, the Valentine radar detector. Now, I added the quick shifter after I had the bike for a while, and that is the best accessory I have ever bought for the bike. It was about $120. I made a video of how to install it. It's on the channel, like all of the carbon fiber stuff, and worth every penny. Now, I've owned a lot of motorcycles in my life. I own 9 right now. 7 are registered, 4 are historic. So I have a good background of judging motorcycles and what I like about them. But of course, what you like about them might be totally different. You might prefer a louder bike. You might prefer a bike that's been modified and worked on and zoot suited up a little bit. But this bike, right off the dealer floor, is absolutely, to me, the bargain of the century. And what happens to me is every time I ride this particular bike, I don't know why. The seating position, the power band, there's something about it that makes you a little bit of a hooligan. Just a little bit, because let's face it, I am a solid citizen, but, well, maybe not that solid, but maybe mediocre. But anyway, you get on this bike, and I don't know what it is. I don't know. You all of a sudden, the road opens up a little. You get the quick shifter, that Yamaha power band. And I say I've ridden a lot of bikes that have more power than this, but don't have the power band. And they're not as much fun to ride. This bike, because of the power band, the way it's geared, the way you sit on it, everything about it makes it that you want to just go zooming down the road. And the radar detector allows you to do things maybe would be a little bit, well, not a little bit, would be a lot riskier if you didn't have the radar detector. But it's time to get back to a lovely farm. So after a really nice ride on just a beautiful, beautiful blue skies day, I wonder, is it worth $9 grand? I don't know. If there's something better on the market for $9 grand, I haven't seen it. This is my choice for the $9,000 bike of the year. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button if you did, and thank you so much for watching.